All right. Well, without further ado, let's get this party started. Well, let's just go ahead and jump into it so we can get it out the way. There are more allegations against Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
In 2002, it was a $500 honorary membership to a club, $1,200 tires, and a $5,000 education gift for Mark Martin. And we're going to come back to that last one in just a second. In 2014, it was a $530 stained glass medallion from his alma mater, Yale Law School. In 2015, it was a bronze bust of Frederick Douglass, which was valued at more than $6,000. Those were some of the gifts that Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas listed on his public disclosure filings over the years, in keeping with post-Watergate federal disclosure laws. While each of those reported items could raise some eyebrows on their own, they are not even the most interesting parts of Thomas's disclosure forms. For that, you have to look at what is missing from those forms. In the past month, ProPublica has reported on a litany of items, on trips and on payments for real estate that Justice Clarence Thomas accepted as gifts from Texas billionaire and Republican megadonor Harlan Crow, gifts that Justice Thomas routinely failed to report. If you add up all the dollar amounts from ProPublica's reporting, the gifts amount to more than $1 million, and none of it showed up on the disclosure forms over the years. Today, ProPublica is out with new reporting about more money, this time tuition money that Crow paid to the schools on behalf of Justice Thomas's relatives. Or relative. In the late 1990s, Justice Thomas took custody of his grandnephew, a man named Mark Martin, at that time a child. By the early 2000s, Thomas decided to send Martin to private high schools, and Harlan Crow stepped in to foot some of the bill. According to ProPublica, Crow paid Martin's tuition at 2 different schools, though the duration and the total sum of those payments remains unclear. In a statement to ProPublica, Mark Paoletta, another longtime friend of Clarence Thomas's, said Harlan Crow paid 2 years' worth of tuition at those schools, which would amount to about $100,000 of undisclosed tuition gifts. While NBC has not independently verified this reporting, Crow responded to ProPublica with a statement about how he supported tuition for many kids, and he did not deny the reporting. Now, Crow wasn't the only person who offered Thomas tuition money. Remember, there was that 2002 financial disclosure form where Clarence Thomas reported a $5,000 gift for Mark Martin's education. That gift, that $5,000 gift, was from Earl and Louise Dixon, the owners of a Florida-based pest control company. As ProPublica reports, Thomas was very careful in accepting and disclosing that contribution. According to 2 journalists who wrote a biography of Thomas, at first Thomas was worried about the propriety of the donation. He agreed to accept it if the contribution was deposited directly into a special trust for Mark. And yet, when it came to Harlan Crow, a multi-billionaire with an avowed and articulated interest in swinging the judiciary to the right, Justice Thomas stayed silent.
So let's get something perfectly clear because I can hear the gaslighting a mile away. But he did report stuff. He did. You see that he reports stuff. I want you to notice what he is purposely not reporting. And it has always seemed like what he is not reporting comes from Harlan Crow. If you're keeping count, this is allegation number 3. And all 3 allegations are connected to Harlan Crow. All 3 of them. So what is it about Harlan Crow that just stops this dude from reporting it? Is it because he's a billionaire? Are these not legit? There are some questions that need to be answered. Also, please stop saying, well, they really don't have to tell where they get their gifts from. Okay, so you like a Supreme Court that takes bribes. the highest court in the land, you have no issue of them taking bribes from millionaires and billionaires. Because they're when they make a law, it don't affect nobody. It's just you know
Just because there is no law saying that this is wrong does not mean to think wrong.
it's indecent and immoral. Let's just put it that way. It's that's what the issue is. It is indecent and immoral that looking from the outside in, it looks like that Thomas is on the take. Surprisingly, it seemed like just from one person, but okay, just from one person. You got anything, Tracy?
Everything Anna said. The fact that they get away with this, again, further proof, Constitution is basically garbage. How did they even get away with this? How? Like, how? And nothing's going to happen. I mean, literally, nothing's going to happen to Thomas. He's not going to recuse himself. He's not going to get disciplined. He's not going to, I mean, he basically is like, what? What you going to do to me? And he can't because you need what? 60? You need 60 senators to impeach a Supreme Court justice. You basically have Manchin, idiot, Sinema, idiot, and then 48 other idiots. So nothing's going to happen to him.
Oh, come on. Crow and Thomas did nothing wrong. Crow had been collecting Nazi, I remember this, Joe, Nazi billion for decades. It's only natural for Crow to buy the Thomases to add to his collection. Yeah, but they're supposed to avoid all appearances of corruption.
They should, but it's
Yeah.
not a law.
And that's
That's the problem.
yeah,
But
that's
it's
the loophole right there. It's not a law, so what? And you have to prove that I'm on it is you know how it is.
You have to connect a bribe to a particular case.
but
Very
even if
hard.
they
It's very
did,
hard.
he's still what's the worst thing that's going to happen to him?
They've already connected Harlan Crow to
I
a
mean,
couple of cases, and
yet
nothing's going
nothing's
to happen.
happened. Right. That's what I'm
Nothing.
saying. He's already been connected.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, what is Clarence Thomas or the other judge? Well, the other judge they might get him because he's not a Supreme Court justice. He's a little lower, so they might be able
Right.
to get him. But what's going to happen to Clarence Thomas? Nothing.
All right. So let's move on to Ginni Thomas, who is so bad that she is changing people whose name was Ginni to anything other than Ginni.
New this morning, the Washington Post reporting a high-profile conservative judicial activist, Leonard Leo, arranged for the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, Ginni Thomas, to be paid tens of thousands of dollars in 2012, while also making it clear there should be no mention of her. So according to the Post, this is how all of this happened. Judicial activist Leonard Leo advises a network of conservative nonprofits, including the Judicial Education Project. So he wanted Kellyanne Conway to give Ginni Thomas, quote, another $25K with, quote, no mention of Ginni, of course. Well, on that day, Conway's company billed the Judicial Education Project for $25,000. That money was for Ginni Thomas. It's unclear exactly what she did for Conway's polling company or for the Judicial Education Project, but that nonprofit did file a brief in Shelby v. Holder in 2012 where the court invalidated key parts of the landmark Voting Rights Act of 1965. Justice Thomas wrote an opinion in that case that was consistent with the nonprofit's position. CNN's Joan Biskupic joining us now. So, Joan, what do you make of all of this?
Good morning, Erica. You know, this is yet one more piece that we're finding out of the very secretive world of money and influence with Supreme Court justices. But I do want to say this one seems very different from what we've heard about in recent days and weeks involving Harlan Crow. But before I get to that, let's at least say what Leonard Leo how he responded to the Washington Post. He said the work Ginni did here did not involve anything connected with either the court's business or other legal issues. Knowing how disrespectful, malicious, and gossipy people can be, I have always tried to protect the privacy of Ginni Thomas and Justice Thomas.
He expects us to believe that crap.
Shoot. We don't really have to dig deep into this, okay? Let's just ground level right there in your face. Can you please give the wife of a Supreme Court justice $25,000 without naming her? I can't wait to hear it. But I really want you to explain to me why.
Nothing sounds fishy about that.
No.
Sounds like only up and up to me.
Nope. Can't get no more deeper than that. Let's pay the wife of a Supreme Court justice $25,000. Oh, by the way, can you make sure that her name don't show up in any type of record? Please make sure that she is not connected to us in any type of way. Matter of fact, don't even put her name on any paperwork. Just put the $25,000 in small bills in the envelope and just slide it across the table with your hand over it and just pretend that you passing salt or something.
What are you protecting here? And I love the Freudian slip in the first clip where she was supposed to say that they were getting gifts, but she started to say grifts.
Yeah.
It's on your mind.
Sometimes you can't help it. You really can't help it.
Truth
Hey, what's
comes
up,
out.
everybody? And yes, happy Mother's Day to anyone out there who's a mom. Thank you, Parker, and welcome. And thank you, Parker, thank you, Parker, for showing up on time. Not really. I'm just messing with
Hey,
he's Parker busy.
He's doing better. He used to come in like in the second half.
I feel like ever since like a month ago, each week there's a new corruption scandal involving a member of the Supreme Court or their family.
Basically,
surprising enough, I haven't had one this week. So surprisingly.
Oh no, there's another one with Harlan. There's another justice that he's trying to buy off or has bought off. I can't think of the man's name.
Oh, really?
Supreme Court?
Not Supreme Court, but this is another justice.
Oh, man,
I mean, still bad. And
there was the thing with Justice Roberts and his wife being invited to some like fancy schmancy gala dinner or something. I'm like, and he never reported it.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised.
I'm not surprised. Excuse me, I have to go put on my hip boots because if this Thomas BS get any deeper, I'll drown. Go ahead and put your boots on and leave it on because I'm pretty sure this is not the end of it.
Get the waiters.
This is the beginning. You may want to put on some goggles.
Ew.